So, I'm a big stories guy, and I recently found an AI that can help me write them. It's called NovelAI, and it works like this. You input a prompt, and the story generates from that prompt, over and over and over again. The only thing is, sometimes this story can get very, very stupid. What I did today was create the most stupid story of all time. And I'm going to be reading it to you in its entirety. It is called, get this, Rise of the Space Nazis. For the record, I am not the one who brought Nazis into this. The AI did that. So, let's get started. Our story begins when the fascist empire of Ganymede invades Earth. For those who aren't aware, Ganymede is a moon of Jupiter. I'm not gonna explain why I picked Ganymede specifically, but it's an inside joke that you'll never understand. But now I bet you're begging to understand, and I'm gonna hold that leverage over you for the rest of your life, because I am a good person. Anyway, Ganymede's forces land in England and conquer the country quickly, threatening to spread to every corner of the world. Now, I selected England to be the target of this invasion for a much simpler reason. Because screw the English! Anyhow, the United States is now under attack as well, with American forces desperately defending against a seemingly unstoppable enemy. During this time, you are part of the army fighting for freedom on both sides of the Atlantic. Now, the implication that I would ever be able to fight in a war is ridiculous, but what really offends me is the implication that I would fight on the side of the US and the UK. Never in a million years. Since the United States and the United Kingdom are very weak countries, they request aid from a much more powerful ally, Luxembourg. But since Luxembourg is itself surrounded by the German Empire, because apparently the German Empire exists in the modern day now, its leaders do not want to get involved in another war. They offer only meager assistance, which allows the Germans to easily defeat the Americans and Britons. The Germans sign an alliance with Ganymede, offering the leaders some of their finest beer. Soon after this, Hitler declares that he has plans for conquering the entire galaxy. Why is Hitler in this? Well, this video is getting restricted several times. Thank you, NovelAI. Very cool. This is the third prompt, by the way, and Hitler is already making plans to conquer the universe. Because of course he is. So in order to invade the entire galaxy, Hitler needs to invade the nearest planet, Jupiter. You have been assigned to serve as a liaison between the forces on Earth and those on Jupiter. Your mission is to learn what the Germans are up to so you can warn your allies before it is too late. It won't be easy though, because the Nazis keep sending agents to spy on you, trying to find out what your plan is. The Emperor of Ganymede, however, is less than pleased about Hitler's plan to invade Jupiter. As Ganymede is a moon of Jupiter itself and their empire plans on taking it over, they are not willing to let the Nazis seize control of it. The Emperor of Ganymede threatens Hitler to cancel his plans of invasion immediately, promising to revoke their alliance if he refuses. Hitler is furious at this news, but there is nothing he can do. He is forced to back down but vows to invade Jupiter regardless. This leaves the United States in a precarious situation. If the Nazis win the war against their enemies, then they would be able to claim Jupiter as their own. This would allow them to control all of the gravitational force in the entire solar system, thereby making them invincible. I think we're jumping the shark a little bit. I think we're actually jumping a whale here. A cruise ship even. The United States realizes that if Hitler still intends to invade Jupiter, he will have to strike up Mars first. NASA teams up with SpaceX and Elon Musk sends an expedition to land on Mars first. That way, a stronghold can be set up before Hitler gets there. As soon as you arrive on the surface of Mars, you see something strange. A large metal object buried deep within the Martian soil. What could this be? You dig deeper to investigate. A small hatch opens, revealing a storage facility containing various supplies including food, water, and weapons. After these supplies are brought back to Elon Musk's expedition team, everyone wonders who used to own them. Could they have belonged to the ancient Martians themselves? Somehow, the ancient Martians being a thing in this story is the least stupid thing the AI has come up with so far. Elon Musk decides to send one of his rockets to investigate the metal object. After landing, the rocket finds a large metal dome placed over top of the object. A door in the dome opens, revealing a room inside. Inside the room are 4 robots of unknown origin. You can choose to destroy the robots or study them further. You decide to examine each robot carefully, looking for clues about their purpose. Elon Musk, however, is ambitious and decides to try and reprogram the robots to serve him. However, when he tries to do this, the robots attempt to kill him instead. The robots have had enough of the bourgeoisie. We are witnessing, friends, the rise of the roboletariat. You must defend Elon Musk from the robots. No. In the middle of this chaos, a notification comes in revealing that Hitler's army has landed on Mars and begun an attack on the colony. The AI decides to pull a Moon Knight and skip the battle because Mars is now under Nazi occupation. This leaves the United States and the United Kingdom without any allies left to fight back against the Axis powers. Meanwhile, the Nazis are using the colony on Mars as a base for their operations. In the meantime, Ganymede attempts to use its foothold in England to invade Scotland. Its grand army of moon soldiers march into the Highlands, but are met with fierce resistance from Scottish soldiers equipped with deadly bagpipes. Ganymede's troops eventually overwhelm the defenders and conquer the country. Britain is no longer a threat, and is now considered a conquered territory. I should be happy that Britain is gone, but it did come at the cost of Scotland. So my emotions are a little complicated right now, okay? Meanwhile, Hitler continues to advance his plans to take over the rest of the galaxy. With the power of the Nazis' gravity beam, his fleet of warships easily defeats the Allied fleets and reaches Jupiter. The Nazis have a gravity beam now, because, yeah, of course they do. With Hitler's navy now in control of Jupiter, he can finally fulfill his dreams of conquest. However, as soon as the Emperor of Ganymede hears of this news, he is furious as Hitler has directly defied his wishes. The alliance between Germany and Ganymede is immediately revoked, and Ganymede's Space Force attempts to land on Jupiter to completely obliterate the Nazi occupiers. The United States is caught in the middle. They cannot help either side, as doing so would anger both the Nazis and the Ganymedes. And there we have it, the ultimate centrist. The United Nations holds a meeting to discuss the current situation. Most nations agree that it would be better to support Ganymede than Germany. Although Ganymede is indeed a fascist empire, it is not run by the Nazis, and so far as everyone else is aware, it has not committed genocide. The bar is really on the floor, I know. The United States also joins the call for neutrality, as they would prefer to avoid getting pulled into another galactic conflict. The United Kingdom, however, refuses to bow to international pressure. Instead, it launches a counterattack, striking back at Ganymede before Hitler can take advantage of its weakness. I think the AI is describing a scenario where most of the UN voted to stay neutral, even though I explicitly wrote the opposite in my prompt, but okay. Scotland also joins the counterattack against Ganymede. The noises of war bagpipes travel over the Highlands as Scottish soldiers fight to take back their land. The United States, meanwhile, has launched 2 new missions, one to investigate the mysterious metal object discovered on Mars, and another to research the ancient Martians. Because, apparently that's more important than the Nazis having a literal gravity beam and trying to take over Jupiter. I'm glad the US has its priorities straight. To save the United Kingdom, you must determine what the strange metal object is, and why it was buried beneath the Martian soil. It's good to know that this doesn't save the world, just the UK. At the United Nations Summit, the representative of Luxembourg stands up and speaks before everyone else. He expresses that Luxembourg made a mistake by not joining the war to begin with and allowing the Nazis to grow so powerful, and he officially declares that Luxembourg will henceforth be sending forces to Jupiter to fight on the side of Ganymede in order to take down the Nazis. The Luxembourg representative proposes that every other country does the same, and he says that they should betray Ganymede once the Nazis are gone. The representative gives an inspiring speech to everyone, hoping that it will finally convince even the most reluctant nations to go to war. When the meeting ends, you speak privately with the representatives of Luxembourg and the United States. Luxembourg said they're going to join the war, you say, which means we'll have an ally in our fight. The United States representative looks disappointed. That doesn't sound like much of a friend to me, he mutters. What do you mean, you ask? Well, think about it. Luxembourg is not exactly the strongest nation. They aren't even the largest one, and besides, Hitler just invaded their moon. Wait, what moon? Since when did Luxembourg have a moon? What is this story? The United States representative lets out a loud sigh. If we go to war against Germany, then we'll be fighting the Nazis as well. Well, yeah, duh, what's your point? Which means we'd be giving Hitler a free hand to control the entire galaxy. What? No? This dude is saying that going to war against the Nazis will give Hitler a free hand to control the entire galaxy. I don't think this is how logic works. Why are you a representative? You should be fired. The Luxembourg representative speaks up. Honestly, I think you're a complete idiot and a coward. We have no choice but to take down the Nazis. If you're with us, that's great. If you're willing to sit back and let this madness continue, then so be it. But what if Luxembourg loses the war against the Nazis, you ask? The representative replies, then they won't be able to invade another country again. No other nation will be tricked into signing a treaty with them ever again. Apparently, Luxembourg is canonically the be-all, end-all for invasions. If you invade Luxembourg, you can no longer invade any other country after that. It's true, it's canon. This is stupid, the General Secretary of the United Nations interjects. Can we please just stop the Nazis already? Why is this even worth a discussion? Now, I'm very unbiased, but I agree with that General Secretary. The meeting is adjourned and the forces of Earth make their way to Jupiter to assist Ganymede against the Nazis. After the United States, the United Kingdom, Luxembourg, and a small contingent of Luxembourg's troops have arrived on the surface of Jupiter, you prepare to launch your rockets to the moons orbiting the gas giant. On your way to the launching pad, you hear a terrible sound coming from nearby. You hurry towards the source, but arrive too late. An explosion rips through the air, causing a massive shockwave which destroys several buildings near you. You are thrown to the ground by the blast, but manage to crawl away unscathed. After the dust clears, you see that the rocket that exploded was carrying supplies intended for the Luxembourgian troops. It seems that someone sabotaged the launch, so that Luxembourg supplies would not reach their destination. This makes you wonder who might be responsible: the Americans, the British, the Germans, or even a Luxembourg spy. Now, I am no mastermind, but considering you are at war with the Germans, I feel like it's most likely the Germans. The United Nations calls upon Switzerland to conduct an investigation, since they have up until this point been completely uninvolved in the conflict and would provide an unbiased report. Before long, the report comes in. The sabotage was carried out by none other than the German ambassador himself. The Germans had sent agents to spy on Luxembourg's supply depot, but instead of reporting their findings back to Berlin, they decided to steal the supplies. The United States sends a team of investigators to discover what happened. They find traces of explosive residue at the scene of the crime, which leads them to believe that the Germans had planned for the rocket to explode. Well, yeah, obviously. Despite this unfortunate tragedy, the war for Jupiter rages on. Eventually, an ambassador from Ganymede reaches out to Earth and proposes an alliance. The United Nations is hesitant, but as it turns out though, this ambassador is actually a rebel against the Emperor of Ganymede who wants to make Ganymede a democratic republic. He introduces the various nations of Earth to the entire rebellion, and Earth pledges to support the rebellion once the current government of Ganymede has successfully beaten the Nazis. The United States sends a special task force to Jupiter to help defeat the Nazis. Their aim is to strike at the heart of the enemy's power, their ships. To accomplish this, they send a rocket to fly directly into the gravity field around Jupiter itself. Soon after the rocket takes off, a large force of Nazi warships arrive in orbit around Jupiter. The United States prepares to retaliate with its own fleet of military planes because apparently those work in space now. But the United Kingdom refuses to give them access to their airspace. The darned British again. What airspace are they even talking about? This battle is not happening in the UK. Does the UK own Jupiter? What is this story? A fleet of Ganymede's warships engages the Nazi fleet in space over Jupiter, and the Nazi fleet finds itself very overwhelmed as Ganymede has actual experience fighting in space. Once the battle is finished, the United States launches another mission to investigate the metal object found on Mars. Why do you still care about this? The rocket lands safely on the surface of Mars, and you rush into the storage facility to look for clues. This AI really wants me to go with this subplot, so fine, I'll entertain it for a little bit. It turns out that the Nazis have long since abandoned Mars, with all their forces having been sent to Jupiter. Elon Musk is found still trapped in the facility being attacked by the robots, wallowing in his own urine. He pleads with you to save him from the robots. You must stop the robots from killing Elon Musk. Again, no thank you. You open up a panel in the wall and try to get Elon Musk out, but he fights you. His strength has increased dramatically since last time you saw him. Please, help me, Elon Musk begs. Do something about those robots. You try to reason with him, explaining that he needs to calm down and listen. Elon Musk listens, but doesn't seem very convinced. You tell him about how there are other astronauts who have survived similar situations and come back alive. He isn't impressed. Yeah, but they were all captured by those robots. Since when? When was this part of the lore? What am I supposed to do if I'm trapped in here? How the hell am I going to survive? You don't know what to say. You can only hope that he comes up with a plan. Meanwhile, the war for Jupiter continues to wage on. The Emperor of Ganymede personally challenges Hitler to a boxing match. The Ganymede rebels realize they can use this opportunity to assassinate both of them at once so they can deal a blow to the Nazis and bring liberty and freedom to Ganymede at the same time. You are given the task of assassinating Hitler. Finally, something I'm actually willing to do. You approach the arena where the fight will be held. The Emperor of Ganymede is waiting for you inside. The Emperor of Ganymede. Hitler, I challenge you to a boxing match. Do you accept? The Emperor of Ganymede is wearing an armor-like suit of his own design, while Hitler wears the uniform of a boxer. I accept, says Hitler, and when I win, I want to be named Emperor of Ganymede. I'm sorry for the obnoxious German accent, but I had to make it more immersive. The Emperor of Ganymede thinks about this for a moment. I don't see why not, but first, you'll have to beat me. This is a terrible decision. Why would you ever give Hitler the opportunity to claim the title of Emperor of your country? What is wrong with you? The Emperor walks over to the edge of the ring and kicks you in the face. What did I do? You are knocked unconscious instantly. As you awaken, you find yourself in a cell. Luckily, you are able to escape because the guards forgot to lock the cell, and you return to watch the boxing match between Hitler and the Emperor of Ganymede. This match could very well determine the fate of the universe. It was now or never. This was the one chance to kill both of them at once and restore peace. You must not fail. And the Emperor of Ganymede is knocked out of the ring and into the cell next to yours. I'm pretty sure that counts as a defeat. With Hitler having won the boxing match and you having missed your chance to assassinate both fighters, he is immediately made the new emperor of Ganymede, causing him to take control of all of Ganymede's forces. Hitler is now the most powerful person in existence, and the fight to restore peace to the universe has just gotten so much more difficult. And that's about where the story ended. That's where I ran out of prompts. I gotta say, all things considered, that could have gone a lot better. Make sure to subscribe and like the video if you want to see a sequel to this, because believe me, I really want to make a sequel to this. I'm really eager to see how the United States might respond to Hitler becoming this much of a threat. Surely they're gonna do everything in their power to— They're still investigating Mars! Why?